We're going to do a LinkedIn ads deep dive. So I'm taking you through an actual month, one of ours. So this is 4/1/2022 through 4/30/2022. So this is a month. This is actual data. This is our Impactable LinkedIn ads account. And first, I'm going to walk you through the high level data, what the overall numbers are. Then I'm going to tell you the results so you're not in suspense. And then I'm going to break down kind of a little bit of the strategy, the demographics, and some basic understanding. It's not going to go super long, but I'll take you through it. So at a high level, we spent $12,513.65. That's a healthy LinkedIn ads budget. I mean, there's funded startups who are just dabbling in LinkedIn and they're not diving in yet. We are not a funded startup, although I guess we're venture backed now that we have an investor, something like that. But that's a decent chunk of money. This is our largest. We don't spend that much on Google search or anything, so this is about 50% of our overall ads budget we're dropping on LinkedIn ads. So 12,513.65 for overall ad. We got 66 conversions. So that's actual booked calls is what we track as conversions. And the cool thing is, I'll show you in here, is I take conversion tracking really seriously. I mean, we try to push it for our clients, but they're oftentimes working with their web dev team and it's extra pages and URLs and whatnot. So it can be hard, but we actually are able to track booked calls and purchases, and not just purchases. Even though we're a B2B service provider, we can actually track what level or tier of service they purchased into. So that's actually really cool. And that's a topic for a different time. So let's jump back in here. And then the high level breakdown was that was $180 per conversion per booked call. And I'll give you the breakdown between cold and retargeting. 684,000 impressions, 2,394 clicks, average cost per click of $5.23. So this is actually really low for B2B, and that we have a lot of things working in our advantage, and I'll share that with you. And our overall click-through rate is 0.35. I feel like that's a little deceiving though, because this click-through rate for retargeting looks abnormally low, because we're actually running some really high frequency, high impression rate, low click type ads like text ads and spotlight ads that make this look worse than it is. And this is unusually high because we have some really huge factors that are playing in our favor for this, and I'll show you. We didn't run lead gen forms for cold. We did actually run lead gen forms for retargeting, but it was only for our newsletter and I think our ad scheduling like beta test. So it wasn't like running lead gen forms like contact us forms. It was just for like newsletter stuff. But we did run some lead gen forms there. And so those are the main. And then the breakdown between cold and retargeting, we spent $7,309 on cold ads. So that would be like putting ads in front of prospects that have never heard of us before, the first touch. That's the most expensive part of advertising in my mind. And then we spent $5,204 in retargeting. Now, I would say that for most cases, the amount spent for cold should probably be a greater proportion than what I have here. But because we're actually getting cost per click at such a low level, we could even this out. We were driving, probably twice as many clicks as other people in our space or other B2B spaces would drive for that same amount of spend. So we were able to get away with spending less on the cold and more on the retargeting. Plus, we have some healthy traffic from other ad sources, Google search, display, organic, going to our website. So that factors into it as well. Like we're not just running LinkedIn in a silo. So let's walk you through the actual strategy a little bit, and then show you how how we booked 66 calls from this ad spend. And this is a positive ROI. So the other thing is, I actually just made a post about this too. Because I actually had the revenue too. So the new revenue generated was $22,127 from this campaign. So this isn't just booked calls. These are quality meetings that led to $22,000 of new business, and the majority of that is going to translate into recurring revenue. So this is a big ROI win for us, and we pretty consistently have positive ROI from LinkedIn ads. But this was obviously, a really good month for that. So let me walk you through our cold ads here. So 7,000. And the basic idea, like, and this is I think where most people get hung up, is um they'll spend 5, 6, 7,000. I thought it was 7. They'll spend all this money on cold ads and they'll only get 8 conversions, and it's $665 per booked call. So by any other standard, if you're going by organic or your Google search ads, like, this sticks out like a sore thumb as a big loser and not something you'd want to continue to invest money in. But big picture is that 80% of the results that we see for ourselves and our clients actually come from the retargeting layer. So where we get booked calls at $91, which is more than half of what we deem as acceptable. So the blended average of those two is we're actually getting, if we can get a quality booked meeting for $200, that's really good for us. 150 might be like our dream goal. 250, 300 if our close rates are in the 30 and 40% range, is good. And the other thing about LinkedIn is you can't get hung up on the cost per click, the cost per impression, the cost per lead, or even the cost per booked call, because typically, compared to other channels, these clients will actually close at a higher rate and they'll have a higher lifetime value. They buy in for more, they stay longer. So you really have to take these calculations in. So overall, $180 cost per conversion. So our cold layer, super simple for this one. We actually had all of the spend go through 3 ads. So we had a couple other things running, but the majority we ran it through 3 ads. And the reason that we were able to get the cost per click so low was this ad here. Eventually, LinkedIn came back and rejected it because we're a LinkedIn ad agency. We're not allowed to say LinkedIn. Our landing page isn't allowed to say LinkedIn. So obviously that causes some nice us versus them kind of things. So this one was getting 246. I mean, usually you could see cost per click around $20 or $30, and then over 2 or 3 months, you try to get that down to like 20 and then down to 10. So getting this hero ad for 246 cost per click, this is on LinkedIn, this is no audience network, was kind of like our hero strategy. And this is basically what it was. We actually ran a screenshot of an organic post that I made. And the clever thing is we actually included the likes, comments. So we baked in social proof into the image. And all of this is an ad image. So that if they actually tried to click like, it would send them to our website. If they try to click comment, it sends them to our website. If they tried to click see more to actually see this ad, it sends them to our website, because this whole thing is actually the ad image. So anything they click on there is like them clicking on the ad. So it was kind of a clever strategy that worked really well for us. Even if they unintentionally clicked on it, they started getting retargeted and they said, oh, okay, you guys got me. So I feel like that really played into our advantage. But that's a strategy almost anyone can use. If you make an organic post, get your friends, family, team, boost up the engagement, screenshot that, run that as an ad. That's actually a pretty decent strategy. And it's the baking of the social proof that really makes a difference. So that was the majority of our cold spend running into this, where we basically just said, hey, we get most of our booked calls from paid ads. We don't use lead gen forms. We've worked with X amount of businesses. And then it was a sales pitch. It was, you care about a couple of things: the quality of the work, and does the price tag make sense? And then they click in and they actually learn more about our company. So that was the main cold ad there. We ran some other ones, and these are really straightforward. This is white label LinkedIn paid ads. This is LinkedIn ads agency. These are really straightforward. Not, these ones aren't clever. They're just, this is who we are. This is what we do. So that gets them in the door. We're also, with the insights tag, it's tracking Google search traffic, Facebook traffic, organic traffic. and we're able to retarget all of that. So not just LinkedIn ad traffic. That's a big part of why LinkedIn retargeting is such a big deal anyway, is that it's not just LinkedIn in a silo. It actually can enhance the ROI of your other ad channels. So let's look at, so this is the spend of a retargeting campaign. So you can see we have spend in a dozen plus campaigns. And the reason that we can make that happen without spending a crap ton of money is because we use ad scheduling. So not all of these ads run all day, every day. We actually pulled LinkedIn's API and we created an ad scheduling tool, which we use for ourselves, some of our clients, and it's in beta test for people to use by themselves. But it basically lets you take any of these campaigns and set it on a schedule. So some of these just run Monday through Friday during working hours. Some of these run like every other day for like 4 hours a day. Some of them run just like Thursdays, like our newsletter one only runs 2 or 3 days a week. That's our lead gen form, just at prime opportune times. And then we run all different ad formats. So the majority of the spend, 1,000, went into this broad retargeting, where it just has, this one's pretty straightforward, where it's some of it's clever, I guess, where it's I did this one, you are here. So it actually shows that, they saw one of our ads, they visit our website, and now they're in the retargeting layer. So we have some of those. This one just shows like a retargeting framework. And some of these are just like, you're being retargeted. This is a retargeting ad. The other ones, we use a lot of different formats. So here's a retargeting video. This one's just like videos that show expertise. They're just positioning us as an expert in our space. They're not like overly salesy. The same with these product playbooks. It's just like strategies. We give information. We kind of position ourselves as experts. The newsletter, just like it sounds, it's just an ad campaign that pushes people to sign up for our newsletter. And then the newsletter, again, is not super salesy. It's delivering, it's educational, it's positioning us as experts. And that's the overarching strategy, is that we're positioning ourselves as experts with our retargeting ads, and we're not just hitting them over the head with, sales pitch after sales pitch. So we have the retargeting newsletter. If they interact with any of our retargeting ads, they get hit with this one, which is a 30-day. So if most of these retargeting ads run for 90 days. If they interact with any of those retargeting ads, they get hit with this extra layer called the 30-day high intent. So they get queued into this 30-day high intent. Okay, some of those are a little, and even that, I think we pushed them to our YouTube channel. There were some other videos that just show expertise. There was a client testimonial. And then we tried to do some clever ones where it was, hey, I see you checking us out. We should talk. Those didn't do amazingly well, but we're willing to test whatever. Other than that, we have a whole campaign dedicated to trust and credibility. And that's basically testimonials, case studies. It was our YouTube channel and podcast interviews, things that are just meant to make us look like experts or to show that we are experts. Second level retargeting. So this is another one. If they engaged with the retargeting layer, they got hit with this. Here's follower ads, spotlight ads, events. We ran a couple of events, and this is our LinkedIn ad beta scheduling. So there's a couple of broad ones that are just like, hey, remember us, this is who we are, what we do. But the majority of our ad spend for retargeting is focused on, we are the experts in our space. You can trust us. Here's who we've worked with. Here's, us in expert interviews being recognized by industry leaders. And so if and when they have a need, we should be well positioned at the top of their list of people that they would consider working with. The other extra tools that we have in our arsenal is the ad scheduling is huge, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to run this many layers without spending twice as much. So LinkedIn ad scheduling is not something they promote themselves, but if you use our tool, or if I think there's a couple of really expensive tools out there, but that would be a massive advantage. The other advantage is that we actually have a custom reporting tool that shows me a better breakdown than what LinkedIn can give. So LinkedIn, it doesn't give you, unless you actually segment your campaigns by industry, by company size, by job title, you wouldn't know where you're getting more traction. This tool actually I can lump them in together and say, I'm going to target these 5 industries, company size 10 to 200, these position titles, and these 3 countries. And then I can actually pull out that data and separate it and see where I get the most traction. So this is really helpful. This is by industry, where I can see the cost per conversion. I remember conversions for us are booked calls. So I can see the cost per conversion by industry. And the big one, normally when I look at this, I'll sort by cost. So I'll see where am I spending the most money, and then where am I spending the most money where it's obviously not being very effective. So here we're spending on marketing and advertising and booking calls at $150 cost per book call. But some of these here, so this one here, venture capital, we spent about $3,000 there, and its call booking, its cost per conversion is double what our, double and triple of what some of these top ones are. Same with insurance. I thought insurance started to show promise, so we started putting money in that, but it became pretty clear after we spent a few $1,000s there that was not the case. There's also some nuggets down here where we can see, hey, we actually do really good with internet industry. And some of these are kind of like the companies label themselves. So it's kind of hard to know with LinkedIn labeling, which of these is SaaS and which is, software development. And so you kind of lump them together, not knowing. But this really lets you see, okay, with internet, we have $84 cost per click, computer software, 73. Information service technology is double what these are. Capital markets. So maybe, venture capital isn't great for us, but capital markets is really good for us. So, and without this data, I mean, you would have to micro segment your campaigns so much to get this data. We can see the same thing by company size. Let's do it by cost. Most of our ad spend is going to 2 to 10, 11 to 50, 50 to 200. But it's really clear, double the cost per conversion for 50 to 200. But you also then have to use your brain and say, but is a lead from a company, twice that size worth twice as much? Yeah, it actually, in a lot of cases is, and then 200 to 500. But there's, you have to be able to see if it was $500 per conversion for this group here, then no, it's not. But 200 or even 250, I think I would pay 250 for that. So it's really good to see by industry, by breakdown, or by company size. You can even see country, job function, seniority. So this extra breakdown was really nice for us to be able to narrow in on the cold audience that we go after, that's then funneling into the retargeting. It takes time, it takes money, it takes, ad spend to get that data. And then it takes, an extra tool to be able to see the data in order to make meaningful changes to your campaign. So that's a couple of things we have in our arsenal that led to kind of this result. But then again, in summary, we spent $12,500 on LinkedIn ads. We actually got 62 or 64 booked calls from that. Only 12 came from the cold layer. 52 of those actually came from the retargeting layer. So again, if you are spending all this money, the majority of the money goes on cold, and you're getting $500 cost per conversion, it's super expensive. You might be tempted to give up, but it's the retargeting strategy and layers that actually make the whole thing turn into a positive ROI. So you can't give up too early. You have to have an actual strategy for retargeting where you position yourself as experts. Don't just stay in front of them with ads that look like ads. And then, we booked 64 calls and we turned $22,000 of new profit, new sales. That was mostly monthly recurring revenue. And that's our little case study here.